So, dear my respectful viewer, today you are in the third part of your program. Today is about the promise, the translation from the last week. And before the break, I mentioned that is the three kind of promise. Is one of them is Allah have a promise with the people, with the man, and the second one is the man has a promise with Allah, and the other one is people has a promise to the other person. So also I explain it. What is that? The one the Allah has said always that is He gave the person, if he do good job, he receive a lot of rewards. And also the person who is nobody knows that he already vowed I gave for example, I have if Allah gave me $1,000, I earn me, and then I will give $200 for charity for somebody's. That's also the promise to the man, with him and to Allah. And the other one is to the person, if they make promise, performing their promise, and he look very heavy, really look any honorable person. Revoke promise does not have also expiation, and it not means that is if you not do it perform it today, you can do it tomorrow. It's not like that. It does not have any expiation. Means in a Arabic word or Farsi meaning. Anyway, this is our program is English. It does not have expiration. But in other way that somebody's made a mistake can give us some expiation, and then it will be okay. For example, in the Hajj, if in the Hajj somebody forgot something, or a Qurbani made a mistake, or then about the Haram or something, that he should give us some expiation as money wise, or as something, or more pray or more something. But about the promise or contract does not have it. That's the important things is that. Also the keeping promise has a very important. The result, is very large. Like a person has always keep the promise, respect the promise, is a kind of educational way. As for example, the person make a promise to his children. For example, the one the children always asked his father to give me that, and then the father say, okay, if I buy for you, for example, a car, if you bring me 4.0 and then you finish your school in a nice way, and then I buy a car for you, and this is a contract, this is a promise. And then after the year or 2 years, that boy or girls try their best and then make it, and then after that, if the father say, oh, I don't have money, or I didn't something, I cannot make it, that is that life of his father and life of children is kind of untrust, and then they will bring all kind of future problem. But opposite of the someone is keeping promise. The father, even though has no money, he can borrow from somebody, but he have to perform his children. That his children will take advantages and remember it when then he do the same thing. If he say no, I have to keep my promise. If the father is violated and then bring some kind of excuse and then not pay for it, what happen is no more trust, both. At the same time, between wife and husband, if someone is make a promise, has to stay with the promise. Other than that, one time, the second time, is argument coming, even the divorce coming. No any remedy for it. These are the importance or keeping promise is. Another way of the promise of Allah, like I mentioned it in Quran, is Allah said that is فَلَنْ يَخْلِفُ اللَّهُ عَهْدَهُ. That means Allah never do violation to His promise. At the same time, this is a command to the Muslims to do the same. So what? And also another verse in the Quran also mentioned in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأُوفُوا بِعَهْدِي أُوفِ بِعَهْدِكُمْ وَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ. So this is also about the promise. And be faithful to your covenant with me, Allah said, I will fulfill with you. And also there is another verse about the promise. That one is the verse of in Surah Yasin, Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adam an la ta'budu ash-shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. That's also Allah said that is as a did I not make a covenant with you, O children of Adam, that you should not serve the shaitanic temptation. If someone is do that one, it means Allah has revenge on them, and then his life will be terrible. Anyway, one of the most important also about this is about the promise is qawl, the stay with that too. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recommend, and also in the verse of Quran, in Surah verse number 2 and 3, but it was chapter 61. Say, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu lima taqulu ma la taf'alun kabura maqtan inda Allahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun. O you who believe, why do you say what which you do not do it? It is most hateful to Allah that you should say that which you do not do. Another verse also is there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this, وَأُوفُوا الْكَيْلَ بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. And anybody is they violate the promise, and so that means that is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him why you did it. And there is one hadith that is someone is promised by purposely to cheat somebody and do not do it, and that he will be in the coal of fire until the person which is asked, and then I forgave him. Other than that, he's burning always. Also, another verse of Quran is that is about the promise is whatever you do, it is do for yourself. If you do promise, you keep it and you perform it, and not violate it on, and you become a benefit. You will receive benefit. You receive reward. If someone is violated, it means he break his own leg. And the verse of Quran was that فَمَنْ نَكَسَ فَإِنَّمَا يَنْكَسُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. Then also another hadith was there, لا تعمدوا على مؤدة إلا من لا يوفى بعهده. So the means the person if they violate the promise should not trust him anymore. So this is also the recommendation is that this was the hadith. And also one story I would like to mention to you about the action of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. One day he promised with one of the Quraysh peoples at that time, before he became as a prophet. For some reason, for some business wise or anyway, they said that we will see you on 10 o'clock under the wall of that building. There was a building was there. Other than that, all places was by tent, but anyway, that was a building has a wall, and the promise was to be under. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, he go there, even though the time is 10 o'clock. The 10 o'clock at that time on that desert area, which is right now it is different, but of course at that time was entirely hot. Even though 38 years ago when I was in Hajj, I felt very much high, very much hot. So in sense of the 1400 years was so much higher. And that, but Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was stand on that wall, under that wall. Even though the sun was coming, the person was passed from him and told him, "Oh Muhammad, what you do here?" He said, "I have promise." Which you have to, okay, you have promise, but turn the other side of wall. And he said, "No, the one which I said, I have to stay here. This I have to keep my promise. Even though the sun was to bother me, still is sick me or ill me or something is okay." So that is the keeping promises that much important is. But unfortunately, in our Muslim, they say something, then the word of saying inshallah, that inshallah never reached. And according to these verses of the Quran, so I think the Muslim is very hard to go to Jannah, except the mu'mineen, inshallah, except the believers. Because I'm witness for a lot of my countrymen, that is most of them, that is say tomorrow never come, the day after tomorrow never come. But however, may Allah guide us, all of us as a Muslim, to keep our promise and also to reach the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah bless you. Inshallah, next week I bring you with another good subject. You will be enjoyed, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.